right. Credit the Aggies. They were better than us tonight. I thought, we had a real problem stopping them. It seemed like when we did stop them that the offensive tipped it back in. We had a really poor time converting in the open floor. A lot of mistakes in the open floor tonight. 3-on-2, 2-on-1. Or drive baseline kick, fumble it out of bounds. And in these kind of games, you cannot make mistakes. We had 11 turnovers in the second half. They looked more physical, stronger, quicker than we did on the interior. They just did just manhandle us, I thought, on the inside. High-low passes in the first half, which we prepared for all week long. We're slow getting the ball, slow recovering, and they just did a really nice job of executing. Gennario Jones is a very good player. He's a new guy for them who I think is going to be a terrific talent. Chuba, I thought, was quicker, more explosive than our guys around the basket, did a really nice job. Baker had another good game. He has played well against us last year and this year. I thought we did a decent job on Huggins for stretches. Omega, DA are guys that we obviously have to rely on to be not good, but have to be great for this club this year. We have struggled trying to find a third scorer. We have struggled trying to find a fourth scorer. It just has not been the same, and that's pretty much what we lost in the offseason, and we have just not been able to play with any kind of effectiveness offensively because it's a real struggle for our guys to make goals. I think over the long haul, we're going to have to be able to get teams in the 50s and 60s to win, but that's very, very difficult when you give up 62% in the first half, which we did tonight. Credit the Aggies. They kicked our butt, and we've got to go back to work and play again on Saturday. Any questions?
Tim, you talk about wanting to find that third or fourth scorer, and Dion, had an incredible game.
He's had a half this season. He had a half, and give them credit. They got to him and did a good job. But he's had one half like that this season, and we didn't expect him to come out and get 25 and a half tonight.
You see him being in the starting lineup more consistently?
Well, we'll see. I think you go back and you look at every game, and you look at these guys are young, and he and Kelvin, and you look at their mistakes, and you try to teach, and you try to coach them, and you try to make them understand what they've got to do. So it's all based on practice and competing. It's not going to be based on this game. It'll be based on what happens tomorrow and Thursday and Friday. But like we said, we're looking, we're searching.
Talk about that late run at the end of the game. You guys didn't have a lead all night, but at least you had that run. Is that something to maybe build off of moving forward?
I think a loss is a loss, and we were down 20 at home, and maybe they stopped playing. I'm not going to credit us right now. Maybe they stopped. We have got our own issues. We've got to continue to fight through it. Got to play some error-free ball, but we've got to defend better. I mean, at the end of the day, I am so sick of giving up 62%, 73% from the three-point line and a half. It's very difficult to catch up. It puts a lot of pressure on a team that is void of scoring to go down and score every possession without turning it over. And so that part of it, I feel like we can't attempt to control, and we're going to do that.
Tim, you talked about your turnovers, but your guys did get turnovers themselves, just couldn't finish.
Yeah, those were the open floor plays that I was discussing. A lot of open floor plays. I can on top of my head think of 8 or 9. Where we're 3-on-2, 2-on-1, and that's always been something that we've spent a great deal of time on in recruiting. That's something that you recruit. I think it's a separation at times of good player and players that need improvement. And we definitely made too many mistakes in 3-on-2, 2-on-1 situations.
Seems like at least the last couple of games kind of gotten out to slow starts, 15-2 at UNM. I forget what it was tonight, but
Yeah.
what do you attribute that to, starting slow?
Well, the two previous games, it was, 12-2 or 11-2 us. I just go back to point blank shots. We opened the game with a jump hook, Matt Welton, 3 feet, doesn't go down. They come down, jump hook, Wilkins, 3 feet, make it. Right? And we go down, and Paul Thomas, double clutch, going to the basket, short arms it, misses, and they go down, score. We've got to finish some of those plays. We've got to finish plays.
Coach, you talked about Matt, and in the second half he took off that mask. Was it just way too much of a problem?
He has just not been the same with the broken nose. He was okay with the broken foot, but he's having real problems with vision. He's having real problems with depth perception. He's having a real problem breathing, as he continues to tell me throughout the course of the game. He just told me at halftime he wasn't going to wear it, and I told him that I wasn't in favor of that. The trainer said he thought it was okay, so we'll see. But, in fairness to Matt, this kid does not practice. He does not practice. He's not practiced in 2 years, and he's trying to play. And there's a reason why you practice, and it's just it's a bit much for him. It appears right now he's really struggling with his confidence and his health. In fairness to him.
Tim, late in the second half, the crowd really seemed to be a factor, especially in those last 5 minutes. Just your thoughts on how the guys respond when the crowd gets like that.
Well, I'll say this, and I told our players this, that they have no idea what basketball means in the city and what great fans that we have. And that the only way they'll really respond is with stops, not scores, stops. And they watched really good defensive clubs for 38 years with Coach Haskins. I realize some of those people are no longer here, and we got a new age fan. But, we've got a tremendous fan base, and we haven't earned anything at this point. We haven't been very good, and we recognize that. Those fake people that you saw there tonight are great minor basketball fans. And I felt them when we made that little run, and I think our players did as well.
Is there anything on this team right now that you look at where it's just like, I have hope that this is going to get better? Is there any facet of this team that you...
Yeah, I have hope with everything, every single phase of it. That's why we coach. That's why we teach. That's why we practice. And you need, you really need toughness, and you really need competitors. And that's what we really need right now, and that's why we coach hard. Guys in stances, guys diving on the floor for loose balls. I saw some of that at times tonight, but I saw a lot of easy looks, and that's troublesome. And foot speed looks like an issue at times for this basketball team. Getting beat off the dribble, we're late to recover at times. So we'll experiment with a lot of things to try to help our team. Maybe we're a zone team. Maybe we just can't play man. But that's been the pride and joy of my career forever. We've had great, not good teams, great defensive clubs. And this team, we're going to have a real hard time if we give it up 62% and a half. And again, credit the Aggies. They did a nice job.
Is that a conditioning problem or a skill set problem?
It's not a conditioning problem, no. We just have to do better in all areas, players and coaches.
Tim, Paul's first game as head coach in this series. What did you think of the job that he did over
Did
there?
a really nice job. I thought his team played organized, and I like their poise. I like the fact they weren't talking trash. I like the fact they stayed focused. I like the fact that they moved the ball, shared it. Their length was a real problem for us. They've recruited very well, and they got a nice team, very nice team.
Thanks, guys.